Evening YouTube. So tonight when I got home from work, this box had just been dumped in my porch. So it must be the little Kenwood that I bought about 3 weeks ago. Now I was starting to think that this Kenwood had gone missing and was never going to turn up. But today it seems like it has finally arrived. I do hope it is alright because the box does look a little bit battered. So it looks like this one might have had a bit of a hard time in the post. So hopefully the receiver inside it has not got damaged. Because it's an old one, this is from 1969, this Kenwood, and it did look in really good condition. It's got a knob missing off the front, but the rest of the faceplate and all the front of it looks in really good condition. That is why I bought this one, so I really hope none of that has got damaged. Because in the photos it all looked really good, the front of this. It just looked very dirty. So I really hope it hasn't got no damage, because I was looking forward to getting this one, because I think this one, when it is cleaned up, it's going to be a really good looking little receiver. So you can see there, it definitely looks like it has been dropped on that corner in the box. And if you look on the underside of the box there, all that corner is a bit battered as well. So it has definitely been bashed about in the post, this one. So hopefully it has been all nicely protected inside, and then it has survived this extra long postage trip without taking any damage. Right, so let's crack on and open it up, see if it's been damaged or not. So this one in this box should be a Kenwood TK-40LT, and I think it might be a little bit of a rarish one because it is the LT version, which means it's got long wave radio on it. And it has come from the British Heart Foundation, which is a charity shop here in the UK. I think in America you would call it a thrift store or the Goodwill shop. I'm not 100% on that, but I do think that's what our friends in America would call a charity shop. And I've bought quite a lot over the years from the British Heart Foundation. I quite like it because you're doing your little bit for charity, and you always get a nice honest description and photos of the item that you are buying, and it normally turns up quite well wrapped up and protected. And this one looks like it's been protected quite well. It's got a load of bubble wrap round it, so hopefully this one has not got damaged in the post. We shall find out in a minute. Oh, and I do really hope this hasn't got damaged, because I've been really looking forward to getting this Kenwood, because I've never had one of these before, and I do think this one's going to clean up really nice. So I will be gutted if the face and that has all been broken on this. So the moment of truth, has the front been broken or not? And I have noticed I did unwrap the box upside down. It should have been the other way up. But I'm looking at that front there. It looks good actually, that front. I can't see it properly yet because it's still got bubble wrap round it. But it does not look like it has been broken or anything like that. It does look alright, the front, so that's good. It looks like this one's turned up in one piece, which is a surprise considering it has been missing for 2 weeks in the post, and that box is very battered. But look there, that does not look damaged. Look at that, that looks really nice, the front of that. Oh, I'm really pleased it hasn't been damaged, because when I got home from work and see that box looking all battered just dumped in my porch, I just thought that is going to be damaged inside there. But look at it is not. Look at that. Trio TK-40LT, the 16 watt per channel powerhouse by Kenwood from 1969. And this one is another one that I have bought as non-working or untested, this one was. So me and the missus had a little gamble and flipped a coin on this one, because it could have something quite seriously wrong with it, or it could have something quite simple wrong with it. So only time will tell on this one whether this was a good gamble or a bad gamble. So it's got its tuning knob missing, and it has got the little fuse part missing off the back. I'll show you that in a minute. So it's got no fuse in it, and it had no plug on it. And that casing there, that is not a wooden cabinet, that is metal, that is, just done to look like wood. So on the British Heart Foundation, it just said untested, untried, has no plug, tuning knob missing, and the fuse carrier missing from the back. So sold as seen, untested. So it really could have anything wrong with it, this receiver. But I just really liked the look of it, so that is why I bought it. So it's got the tuning wheel missing, but that tuner is working. That feels alright actually, that is working nice and smooth. And you should quite easily be able to find a tuning wheel for that. And this one is power, speaker and headphones, because when you turn it to headphones it shuts the speakers off. So that one felt alright. This one is your radio. Oh, that feels really stiff. That does not want to move. That went then, but that is really seized up, that one. That is really hard to turn. It doesn't feel bent or anything like that. It just feels really hard. So that one will definitely need looking at, because that is not right. So let's have a feel of the switches. Yeah, they feel alright. That switch feels good. Yeah, them two switches feel okay. Let's have a feel of this pot. Yeah, that treble pot feels alright. Feels like it's working okay. Bass pot. Again, that one feels a little bit stiff, but I don't think that's nothing that dioxin won't sort out. So let's have a feel of these switches. Yeah, that one feels nice. Yeah, that felt good, that switch. And can you see that? That is the balance, but that is a split knob. So the front part does one speaker and the back part does the other speaker. And that feels quite stiff. So that definitely needs looking at, that balance pot. And that is the long wave, medium wave button. And that's not actually locking in, that should stay in there. But it's not, it just pings back out. Right, it stayed in then. Right, it won't do it again, but it did do it one of the times. So I'll have to have a look at that switch as well. So after having a good feel of all them switches and pots on the front, I would say that this receiver has not been used for a very long time. And it does feel like it's got quite a few problems. But I still really like my new Trio. I really do. I really like the look of it. I think this looks really good, this receiver. And when it's all cleaned up and you get that tuning knob back on it, and then you light all the face up, I reckon this old Kenwood's going to look like a bit of a stunner. So let me turn it round and I'll show you the back of it. And just look at the size of that chassis on it. That is one heavy duty chassis. So for a little 16 watt per channel receiver, this old Kenwood is built like a tank. And that's what I really liked about it. When I found it, I was looking at that chassis and I was thinking, I want that Kenwood. And you can see there, look, the back part of the fuse carrier is missing. So it's one of them ones that screws in. It won't be hard to get hold of one of them. See there, it's got a mono output and it'll only take one set of speakers. So you've got a phono, auxiliary and your tape deck. And then it's got that tape in DIN connector, which would be for your reel-to-reel player. Well, unless your reel-to-reel had phonos on it, but all the ones I've ever had have had that DIN plug on them. So I hope you can see why I bought this Kenwood, because it has got a lot of potential. So when I first found it, I did just really want to buy it. I know it's got a knob missing, but apart from that, this thing does look like it's going to clean up really nice. So let's turn it back round, and now it's actually here. It is a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it would be like full size. I thought it would be a bit smaller than this. But you'll see there, look, I put the Pioneer SX434 on top of it. They are more or less the same size, and this Pioneer is not a small little receiver, it's quite a big chunky receiver. So that Kenwood is a bit bigger than I thought it was going to be. I like it, this Kenwood, I really do. And just look at the pair of them there sitting together. Look how old the Kenwood looks, and it's only 5 years older than that Pioneer. Because I think this Kenwood is 1969 and I think that Pioneer is 1974. So how things changed in them 5 years. But in a power battle, this little Kenwood will blow the doors off of that Pioneer, because this Pioneer is only 15 watts per channel, and that Kenwood is a mighty monster with 16 watts per channel. But in the real world, there is no way that that Kenwood with its 1 watt more will be louder than this Pioneer, because this Pioneer is so loud for a 15 watt per channel receiver. It really has got a ton of power and it is just so loud. That is why me and the missus call this little Pioneer the party receiver, because that's what it is. So while I've got my tape measure here, let's do the measurements on the Kenwood, see how big it is. So you can see there that is 16.5 inches wide, or 42 centimetres. And how tall is it? So it's just over 5 inches tall, or about 13 centimetres. And let's see how deep it is. So it's about 12 inches deep, or 31 centimetres. So it is quite big, this Kenwood. It's a nice sized receiver. And now it is here and I am looking at it. I am really glad that I bought this Kenwood, because I really like these old 60s receivers, and I nearly didn't buy this Kenwood, because when I was looking for something to buy, I found this Kenwood and also I found a Sony STR. So I showed them both to my missus, because she was sitting with me and we was having a look at what was for sale. So I showed her this and I showed her the Sony, And she went, "Well, you're going to buy one of them?" I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know what one to buy." She went, "Right, come on, let's do this, because we haven't done it for ages." So we flipped a coin. We done heads, we buy the Sony, tails, we buy the Kenwood. And she flipped the coin and it came up heads. So I bought the Sony. And then later that day, my friend James come round. So we're sitting there listening to some music and having a few beers. And my missus is telling James the story about the coin flip on the Kenwood and the Sony. And James didn't know what the Kenwood was, so he went, "What was the Kenwood then?" So I got it up and showed him the pictures, and it was still for sale. And I went to my missus, "Oh, I'm a bit gutted I didn't buy that. Look at it, it looks really nice." And she went, "Yeah, it does look nice. And we haven't got a Kenwood at the minute, have we?" So I said no. She went, "Come on, let's flip again, call it." I went, "What, on the Kenwood?" She went, "Yeah." So I went, "Right, heads we buy the Kenwood, tails we buy the Kenwood," because I really wanted it. She went, "No, come on, do it properly." She went, "No, actually, what did the Kenwood had last time? We'd do it again." I went, "Right, the Kenwood had tails last time, so tails we buy the Kenwood, heads we don't." So she flipped again, and this time the tails come up, so I was so happy and bought the little Kenwood. But that was about 3 weeks ago, and the Sony turned up a few days later, but the little Kenwood never arrived. And on the tracking it said it was posted the day after we had bought it. And that's the Sony there. That is an STR 6040. So that is the Sony we bought on the same day as we bought the Kenwoods. So I messaged the British Heart Foundation about the Kenwood, and they said if the tracking says it was posted on that day, then it was posted on that day, because it all does it automatically. So I really did think the little Kenwood was missing. So I am really happy that it has finally arrived today. So it has not been lost. It has not been damaged in the post. So I really like my new little Kenwood Trio, and I'm looking forward to getting it on the channel, opening it up, giving it a good clean and seeing if I can get it working. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.